Beneath the window of my luxurious prison suite in the Iron Fortress, 3 stories of sleek black rock gleamed in the moonlight. There was no way I could climb out of here. No crevices to stick my fingers into, no footholds to help me escape. I'd been trapped here for months. Months ago, I'd been locked up in Castle Sackless on a cliff off the coast of Albia. That lasted about 5 days. Then, in the middle of the night, 4 guards had dragged me out to a boat. They kept cloaks up, hiding their faces. No one spoke to me as we travelled down the dark river to Dovran, but I wondered if I was going to be executed. Instead, they brought me back to the city and locked me in the Iron Fortress, a place I'd seen from afar but never wanted to enter. But I was brewing a plan. I pressed my hands against the cold glass, yearning for the moment I would roam free again, even if it looked bleak as hell out there. Winter had spread its frosty mantle over the world, and a light dusting of snow and ice coated everything. Beyond the moat, a thorny, untended garden rambled over the grounds, stretching out to an iron gate. Tall and Gothic, it was known as the Iron Fortress because of the formidable spiked fence around it. Maybe I'd be out there soon. It was a different sort of fortress these days. The iron fence lay half in ruins, but angelic magic protected this place from intruders. No one could get in unless someone from the inside allowed them in. And as for getting out, I was working on that. I'd been staring out this window far too long, in the same nightgown I'd been wearing for months. No one had given me a change of clothes, not even when I'd moved locations. In the past few months, I'd memorized every curve of the Serpentine River just beyond the gate. Tonight, a heavy fog rolled off the water, pierced by warm lights from gas lamps. I could just about make out 2 figures walking along the bank. An ache pierced my chest. Maybe I could be with another person soon. How amazing that would be. It had been at least 2 months since I'd seen another person. At least, I thought I'd been in here 2 months. It could just as well have been 11 years. It was hard to track time when loneliness clouded my thoughts like a sickness, making it hard to breathe. Every day, my meals arrived in a little dumbwaiter with a wooden door. It wasn't large enough for me to fit in, though I'd definitely tried. Before I'd been locked in here, Samael's beautiful face had been the last I'd seen. Since then, I thought he might have forgotten I existed. Once I'd caught a glimpse of him brooding by the river walk, his cloak drawn up over his head. I stuck my head out the window, shouting and trying to get his attention. I longed for just a glimpse of those pale grey eyes, but it was like he couldn't hear me at all. I desperately wanted him to look at me. No such luck. But I supposed there were worse things than loneliness. I had, after all, tried to murder him with a bomb. In response, he'd locked me in a luxurious room stacked with books. I'd spent the time practicing reading on my own, sounding out words, memorizing sounds and letters. Another silver lining of my prison: it wasn't anything like the dungeons of Castle Hades, where traitors had been tortured for thousands of years. I hadn't lost skin, nor fingernails, nor eyeballs. Both my ears remained attached to my head, and not a single burning rod had been inserted into any of my orifices. I had no broken bones. I hadn't been dipped in a vat of boiling oil, not even once. And that was frankly bloody lucky, because Samael was the closest thing we had to a king, and I'd nearly murdered him. Regicides didn't normally get a soft bed and 3 meals a day. They normally had their entrails ripped out before their eyes. I should count my lucky stars in here. There were, however, 2 teensy-weensy problems with my current situation, which was why I was working on breaking out. 1, I had some vengeance to wreak, and my imprisonment was getting in my way. My former friend and my sister had brutally betrayed me, putting my life at risk. They were the reason I was locked up here. And 2, I was losing my ever-loving mind in isolation. There was no torture rack.